Heat Seekers, are you ready to dominate the tight end position this week? Week 9 was a crapshoot. Who knows what to expect? But week 10, we've got the tiers for you. We've got the tight end tiers to help make your winning dreams come true. With that being said, smash the like if you enjoyed the content. These guys we all think have potential to be a tight end 1 overall. Now, obviously, that isn't saying much these days because the tight end group as a whole has been all over the place. You have the high-end guys, and even them have been a bit up and down. We've seen Travis Kelce have some trouble this year where it just seems to not be on the same page. Or Pitts was developing and now appears to be the man there in Atlanta. TJ's been taken out of game plans here and there a little bit because there's just not a lot on the offense to scare teams, so they focus on him in the running game. It's such a weird time in fantasy for the tight ends, but these are all really good tight ends. If you had to pick one that doesn't produce this week, who is the one that you think could not be a tight end 1 overall?
Interesting question. I guess I'm going to go with, surprisingly, probably Kyle Pitts. They have that interest in throwing the ball around 2 other guys, whether it's Patterson, Russell Gage got targets. And I think that there's a decent chance that Diggs does a lot of covering of Pitts, which I think will make it more difficult. Yeah, I guess I'd have to go with him out of all these guys because there really isn't anyone, in my opinion, you like to cover Travis Kelce from Vegas. Jerome Baker, maybe on Mark Andrews. He's been a good coverage linebacker, so that's another one. Hockenson with Pittsburgh. I think that's a good matchup there. We saw some Chicago Bears tight ends have success this past week against them. Gesicki's sort of functioning as the de facto wide receiver as well. And Baltimore, it's that same sort of situation. They're getting thrown on all over. So it's a good tier overall. If I had to pick one, I'd say Pitts.
Yeah, it's definitely a good tier and great matchups this week. Dan Arnold got traded over to Jacksonville and has been targeted a bunch and continues to produce pretty well. I think I would venture to say he's probably even done better with Jacksonville than with Carolina as he was doing. Friermuth, clearly the number 1 guy there at tight end. Obviously, Ebron is an afterthought at this point, and for good reason. Friermuth is continuing to grow and look good. I feel good about the tight end 1 tier. Gronk's been up and down with the health, but is there anything here that kind of scares you this week for them?
Dalton Schultz has seen a downtick. If you look over the past 3-4 weeks or so, he has been on that fringe tier for that tight end 1 as they sort of getting some wide receivers involved more. Yeah, Jarwin is on IR for Dallas, so we're not going to be talking about him, which leaves just Schultz, but also to have part of that blocking fall on him. Jarwin had been doing some of, so maybe it's that. Fant, is he going to be healthy and play? He was out this past week. Going to have to see if he's off the COVID list. Gronk health, like you mentioned. But other than that, Dallas is getting targets. Arnold certainly has a nice rapport he's built with Trevor Lawrence. Hunter Henry, same thing with Mac Jones and Friermuth. Despite that one deep ball that was severely underthrown to James Washington in the Pittsburgh game, Ben really isn't throwing those deep balls anymore, and Friermuth is just a great tight end. He would be working there in that middle zone, and he's clearly made an impression with Ben.
And that's something to keep an eye on when you're talking about Dan Arnold and the connection to Trevor, because wasn't Lawrence hurt? Oh, no, he should be good. Okay. I was just checking to see if
he'll be back this week.
Yeah. The last news I see is he should be good to go. So, yeah, fire up your Dan Arnold shares. So who's the sleepers? Logan Thomas potentially coming off injury and wasn't hurt. He's much higher than a sleeper at this point. But with him being hurt, it's hard to trust him. But if he is hurt, it's not hard to trust Ricky Seals-Jones because he's done pretty well in his absence. So I feel good about the first couple guys, Ertz, Cook, Ricky Seals-Jones if he's healthy. If Dawson Knox is fully healthy, it would be Dawson Knox too. He's probably even in the tight end 1 consideration or 1 overall consideration if fully healthy. But a lot of these guys, it'll be interesting to see. With Odell Beckham finally gone, do one of these tight ends really step up a little bit more and get a little bit more action? What do you think about this sleepers tiers? Anyone that's exciting for you?
I threw out the same name I threw out at the end of last week. Hope you did if you needed help because it worked out for you. Geoff Swaim. He's taken over the tight end role from Anthony Firkser there in Tennessee. Past 2 weeks, he went 4 for 5, 23 and a touchdown, 4 for 4, 29 and a touchdown. You're thinking, wow, that's touchdown dependent. Welcome to the tight end group. Most of these guys are not guaranteed volume, but he is the tight end if there is one to have in Tennessee right now. And they're going to be throwing the ball. I think we sort of saw that lack of clarity with the running back group. And they're in a situation where they're going to be facing New Orleans, who's been able to move the ball too with whoever's at quarterback. So I think there's a potential to have a nice scoring game there. Swaim, if you're digging down in this tier anyway for someone that is probably available in waivers in a lot of your leagues, again, Swaim is a guy that he has that upside because he's getting attention from the quarterback and he's building some trust over the past few games.
That's important. Trust, especially with that offense changing the dynamic completely with Henry out. Building that trust can really push Swaim into a good spot as you move towards the fantasy playoffs. So definitely not something to overlook, especially with how that offense is having to change. So it's a good call.
As a note on that, I know this is just one platform, but like on Yahoo, he's still sitting at like 0% owned or rostered, for that platform. And it's going to change where you are. If you're not in a very deep league, he's probably still on free agency.
Yeah, for sure. If you have questions, drop them below. If you got questions and you want to get them answered immediately, jump on the Discord server. It's free, and we have a huge community of people that are on there chit-chatting on the regular, talking starts, sits, trades, all that good stuff. As always, we thank you guys. We'll talk to you later.